Hey folks, I often get questions about how I prepare an image for printing with an online lab for best results. So I'm collaborating with artmill.com to create this video, which we hope will help you get great prints. Artmill is a photo lab located in Chicago. They've been producing museum quality prints for professionals, art galleries, and museums for over 10 years. I've never used Artmill before, so I'm excited to see what they can do. I'll take you through my process of preparing and ordering a print, and then I'll unbox it when it arrives so you can see how it turned out. Just to be clear, I don't work for Artmill and I'm not being paid to do this video. We just felt that some information on this topic would be welcomed, and they were kind enough to provide the printing. The print itself will be auctioned as part of a fundraiser for the city library here in my hometown. Before we start, I'll just say that there are many photo printing labs out there these days, and most of them do excellent work. So it's easier than ever to get professional quality prints. Digital printing has really come a long way, and there are now many printing options available. Different labs offer different ranges of print types, services, prices, and shipping options. To find the right lab for you, I recommend doing some research and perhaps ordering a test print or two with different labs to see which best meets your particular needs. If you own your own photo printer, then you have the advantage of being able to immediately see and evaluate the print and quickly make adjustments and reprint if needed. However, owning and maintaining your own large format printer is a lot of work and can be expensive, and your options are more limited. Most people don't have the equipment capable of printing really large prints or producing specialty prints such as acrylic face mounts, metal prints, and canvas wraps. Printing online can be as simple as uploading phone pictures to a lab directly from your smartphone, or as advanced as working one-on-one with a professional print master to fine-tune every aspect of the final piece. Most of us who are photography enthusiasts will take an approach somewhere in the middle. Just a few simple pointers can really elevate the quality of your prints. The first thing to do is make sure your computer monitor and workspace are optimized. If you can, locate your computer in a room where the lighting is as consistent as possible. I work with the blinds shut in my office so that the lighting is always the same, day or night. Changes in brightness and color of light will also change what you see on your screen and how you edit your images. Second, work on a calibrated monitor if possible. Many of the newer and nicer monitors are very color accurate out of the box, and they don't shift colors much over time, so it may not be necessary. But if you're working on an older monitor, or you just like to be as color accurate as possible, then I recommend investing in a monitor calibration tool. Print labs keep their systems color managed. Calibrating your monitor is how you can ensure that the colors you see will match what they print. Third, you probably need to turn the brightness of your monitor down. Most monitors have a default brightness setting that is intended for video games and movies, but is far too bright for printing. If you consistently get prints that are too dark, which is a common problem, it's probably because you're editing your images on a monitor that's too bright. A simple way to judge the correct monitor brightness is to look at a print you've printed in good lighting and compare it to the same image on your screen. Then turn down the brightness of your monitor until it more closely matches what you see in the print. People are often surprised just how much they have to turn down their monitor brightness. Once you have your workspace lighting and monitor adjusted, re-edit your image if needed to get it looking how you want, and then you're ready to prepare it for printing. Some labs have custom ICC print profiles that you can download and use for soft proofing. Soft proofing is a way of simulating on screen what the final print will look like on paper so you can fine-tune it before printing. Soft proofing can be helpful if you like to have the maximum control, but the gains are often very small and great prints can be made without soft proofing. Artmill doesn't use a custom profile, so I'll show you some basic adjustments that can be made for best printing results without custom soft proofing. If you'd like to learn how to soft proof, I have a separate video on that I'll link to at the end of the video and in the notes below. Okay, so let's prepare an image for printing. If you use Lightroom only, then I'll start with that. In Lightroom, I begin by making a virtual copy of the image that I'm going to upload for print. Then I increase exposure by 0.1 to 0.2 to further compensate for the dark print problem. I also add 3 to 5 points of contrast, and I increase vibrance by about 10 points. Then I export a print file of the virtual copy. I'm going to make a 24 by 36 inch face-mounted acrylic print of this image. When exporting your print copy of the image, it's important to know what specification the lab requires. ArtMill accepts either JPEG or TIFF files. They also have an option to custom enhance your photo for you at no charge, and this optimization is done by an actual person on an image-by-image basis. If you're going to have your lab further adjust the image for you like this, then it's a good idea to save it as a TIFF file. I've done all my own enhancing to my image, so I will not have ArtMill make any further adjustments. As long as no additional adjustments will be made, uploading a JPEG is fine, and it's much faster. For files larger than 100 megabytes, ArtMill has you send the photo to them via WeTransfer.com, but a JPEG will easily be under that 100 megabyte limit, so I'll be able to upload the image directly on their website. ArtMill also specifies the Adobe RGB 1998 color space, so I'll choose that. They also want a 300 pixels per inch print resolution. Now I could simply upload the image file at its native pixel dimensions and then have them enlarge it to my print size. But I prefer to enlarge the image myself so I can sharpen it for printing at that size. Since this will be a 24 by 36 inch print, I'll enter those dimensions, and I'll also set the print resolution to 300 ppi. Under Output Sharpening, I'll select Glossy Paper and Standard Sharpening, and then Lightroom will apply the correct amount of sharpening for a 24 by 36 inch print on glossy paper. Now I click Export and choose where to save my print copy. In this case, I'll just save it to my desktop and then delete it once the print has been ordered. But if you plan on producing multiple prints of the image at this size over time, then you might choose to keep the print copy in a special folder of its own. Personally, I almost always prep my images for printing using Photoshop. The process is a little more involved, but it gives me more control. First, I open the master image file in Photoshop, not the adjusted virtual copy we previously made, because I want to make those adjustments in Photoshop, not in Lightroom. In Photoshop, I create a duplicate of the image so I'm not working on my master file. And I flatten the duplicate. And then I close the original master file. Then I add a levels adjustment layer and set the blending mode to screen to lighten, again to compensate for prints that are too dark. I set the opacity for this brightness adjustment to somewhere around 10 to 20%. Then I add a brightness contrast layer and increase the contrast 3 to 5 points. And finally, I add a vibrance adjustment layer and increase the vibrance by about 10 points. Then I go to Image, Image Size, and size the image to 24 by 36 inches at 300 ppi. Now that I have it sized, I can sharpen it for print. To sharpen it, I can either use Photoshop's Smart Sharpen filter, but this requires some knowledge of how much sharpening to add for different prints of different sizes. Really, the only way to learn this is to practice and do a lot of test printing. However, there are third-party plugins that will auto-sharpen your images for you based on the print size and paper that they're being printed on. So I recommend using one of those. For example, the Nik Sharpener Pro 3 output sharpener does a great job. Once I've made my optimization adjustments, sized the image, and sharpened it for printing, I'll flatten all the layers. And then if I need to, I'll go to Convert to Profile and convert to Adobe RGB 1998, since that's the color space that ArtMill.com specifies. Now I'll save the image as either a TIFF file if I think ArtMill will be doing additional adjustments to the image, but since I made all the adjustments myself, I'm not going to have ArtMill do any additional adjusting, so I'll save it as a JPEG at maximum quality. So once we have our optimized image saved, we're ready to order our print. So I'll head over to the ArtMill website. The ordering process will vary lab by lab, but many of them are similar and most have good user support. ArtMill provides excellent customer service. You can email them or you can call them, but I really like their live chat support option. With artmill.com, production time is approximately 5 business days and then another 1 to 4 business days for shipping with UPS ground, depending on where you're located. For the standard ground shipping, there's no additional shipping cost. And then I'll place my order, and that's all there is to it. If you decide you'd like to try ArtMill out, they have created a promo code specifically for my viewers. You can use the code Outdoor Exposure to get 15% off any products in your first order. So now I just need to wait for my print to arrive. Okay, so my print from ArtMill came today, and I'm excited to open it up and see how it looks. So let's get right to it. You can see it's packaged really well, and they say they take pride in how carefully they package everything, and that they almost never have prints arrive in any sort of damaged state. And you can see, in the shipping, the box does take some beating, but hopefully everything inside is protected. So let's check it out. So we've got great foam packaging all the way around the edges, and foam corners, and layers of cardboard to take up any dead space. Of course, that's all recyclable. This looks like some cards with a promo code for future orders. That's cool. Of course, if I was unboxing this print and it was going to be inspected and signed and then sent on to a customer, I would be taking it apart very carefully so that I could repackage it and reuse all that same packaging. But in this case, this print is going to go to the auction here in town for my public library, so I don't have to worry about repackaging. And it comes with all the hardware for hanging, screws for the wall, and this is the hanging hardware. So this piece will mount to the wall, and then this hooks over the top of that and hangs totally secure and level. All right, now let's flip this over and see how it looks. Wow. I'd say it came out great. Acrylic is perfect, no scratches, and the image also looks perfect. I got the brightness and the color just right. The sharpness and detail and depth of the image is spectacular. So yeah, I think it's a success.